Jason Ademilola, one half of the Twin Powers in Jersey City. At 6'3", 285 pounds, Jason was a force up front on the St. Peter's defense, causing nightmares for opposing offensive linemen. Ademilola accounted for over 170 tackles and 23 sacks during his time in a Marauder uniform. Jason, along with teammate Shane Simon, are the only two New Jersey players selected to play in the 2018 U.S. Army All-American Bowl. Justin Ademilola completes the other half of the Twin Powers at St. Peter's Prep. Justin racked up over 170 tackles and 18 sacks during his time in Jersey City, complementing his brother Jason on the opposite end of the defensive line. Justin shined bright under the postseason lights, coming up huge for Prep with 2 sacks and a TD catch in the Marauders' non-public Group 4 semifinal win over Paramus Catholic. Justin, Jason, and teammate Shane Simon are all on their way to South Bend to play for Notre Dame. At 6'5", 270 pounds, Antonio Alfano is a 5-star defensive lineman and rated the #1 overall recruit in New Jersey's 2019 class. Antonio made headlines this summer, leaving superpower Bergen Catholic to return to his hometown and play for Rahway High School. After sitting out the first 4 games of the year, Alfano's highly anticipated return to the field did not disappoint. In just 7 games, Antonio accumulated 67 tackles and 5 sacks. Football is in the bloodline of St. S-Montvale's Howard Cross III. The son of a former New York Giant and Super Bowl winning tight end, Cross has burst onto the national recruiting scene, carving out his own path in football. He had over 130 tackles and 12 sacks over the past 2 years for the Green Knights. The 6'2", 240-pound defensive end has gathered offers from some of the best in college football. He's rated the #2 overall recruit for the class of 2019 in New Jersey. He's 6'5", 250 pounds, and runs a 4.8 40-yard dash. Don Bosco Prep's Marcellus Earlington was one of the most elite defensive forces in all of New Jersey football. The senior defensive end proved to be virtually unblockable during his time in Ramsey, bulldozing his way to sacks and tackles for the Ironmen. Despite holding 16 FBS football offers, Marcellus announced that he will forego his future on the gridiron and turn his focus on the hardwood. He wants to follow his lifelong dream of playing Division I college basketball. Tyler Friday came into his senior season at Don Bosco Prep as one of the most highly touted and sought-after recruits in America, and with good reason. Friday, at 6'3", 265 pounds, is a physical specimen on both sides of the line. He has accumulated over 20 FBS offers, including the likes of Michigan, Ohio State, Miami, and Alabama. Woodrow Wilson's Travon King is a gritty hard worker that excites and gives everything he has. On both sides of the ball, he's a headache to deal with. King had 32 receptions for 555 yards. On defense, 16.5 sacks and 3 caused fumbles. King will focus on defense in college and stay in-state to play for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Lakewood's Josh Lezin capped off an amazing 4-year career anchoring the Piners' defensive line. A 4-year starter, Lezin has been a dominant force. In his senior season, Josh had 86 tackles, 11 sacks, 44 tackles for loss, 3 blocked punts, and 3 blocked extra points. Coach L.J. Clark says as good as he is on the field, he's even a better person. Elijah McAllister isn't your typical comeback story. The Rumson-Fair 2-sport star overcame not 1, but 2 torn ACLs. After missing his entire junior season on the gridiron, Elijah made the switch from wide receiver to defensive end, and the result was one of the Shore's most active defensive linemen. His 6'7" frame caused a lot of batted passes and intense pressure on opposing QBs. Elijah McAllister currently has 22 Division I offers. Emmett McNamara had a meteoric rise during his high school football career at Red Bank Catholic. He didn't begin playing high school football until his junior year, when he added 40 pounds of muscle to his 6'7" frame, The results showed up on the field and on the recruiting radar. McNamara has reopened his recruiting after a verbal commitment to the University of Virginia. He showed his ability to attack the pass rusher and be a disruptive force in his senior year for head coach Frank Edgerly. 6'5", 225-pound Kaymar Mimes was the defensive leader of a Long Branch Green Wave squad that went from 2 wins in 2016 to 8 this year and a spot in the Central Jersey Group 4 Finals. The younger brother of Oakland Raiders linebacker Shilique Calhoun, Mimes uses a combination of speed and strength to spend plenty of time in the backfield. Kaymar Mimes has 5 Division I offers, including Rutgers and Wake Forest. Eli Sloan L. was a sack machine for the Camden defense. Sloan L. had 78 tackles and 15 sacks. His 4-sack performance against Pennsauken included this play in the end zone, which resulted in a safety. Sloan L. helped the Panthers to an 8-2 mark in 2017, including a 4-1 record in the WJFL's Constitution Division. At 6'6", 245 pounds, Lance Turay fits the mold and then some of an elite college football recruit. The Irvington defensive lineman set the tone on a Blue Knights defense that allowed just 13 points a game, en route to an 8-win season and a Freedom White divisional championship. Turay recently made his pledge to play in the ACC for the North Carolina Tar Heels. 6'2", 220-pound Jake Vall-Llobera of Westfield led a defense that gave up 7 or fewer points in 9 games this year. Vall-Llobera had 62 tackles, 16 for a loss, 10 sacks, and doubled as a running back for the Blue Devils with 7 touchdowns in the regular season. Vall-Llobera experienced an incredible 37-game win streak and 3 straight sectional titles. How do you make a good team even better? Get a player like Nihym Anderson on your side. The senior from Vineland rushed for 817 yards and scored 14 times. We've got him on the all-zone team as a linebacker, where he recorded 64 tackles, 7 sacks, and recovered 3 fumbles. This impressive performance sends him to College Park next year, where he'll be the newest member of the Maryland Terps. Bridgewater-Raritan's Justin Bryant is a hard-hitting linebacker who is sure to leave a mark. Bryant doubles as a running back for the Panthers. Coach Scott Bray calls Bryant the quarterback of his defense. Justin had 4 interceptions in the regular season, along with 5 TDs, 2 fumble recoveries, and over 100 tackles. Bryant helped the Panthers reach a 3rd straight North 2 Group 5 state final. You'll be hard-pressed to find a better two-way contributor than St. John Vianney's Johnny Buchanan. His leadership at middle linebacker was a big reason that SGV has posted double-digit wins over the last 3 years. Buchanan had 130 tackles, and his double-duty work at running back was stellar. In Vianney's biggest games, Buchanan raised his game. Double-digit tackles and over 200 yards rushing in wins over RBC and Camden Catholic are the proof. Buchanan will now focus on defense as he's set to play linebacker for the Delaware Fighting Blue Hens. Somerville's Jalahn Dabney is a true jack-of-all-trades. A dangerous offensive weapon at quarterback, wide receiver, and return man, we've got Dabney as part of our linebacking core. In Week 9, Dabney made headlines with a 6-touchdown game against Scotch Plains Fanwood and then showed off his defensive skills with a 9-tackle effort against Summit and 10 more tackles in the playoffs against Ewing, all while contributing in all 3 phases of the game. Pope John linebacker Nick DiNucci was a driving force behind a successful 2017 season in Sparta. DiNucci was a beast on defense, accumulating 115 tackles and 7 sacks. Nick led the Lions to a 6-win year and nearly shocked the state with a 1-point loss on the road at Bergen Catholic. DiNucci will head to the ACC next season as he's made his pledge to play for Boston College. When you talk to head coaches from Super North football, DePaul Catholic's Vinny DePalma is spoken extremely highly of. The 6'1" senior led the Spartan Surge in 2017, playing both sides of the ball at linebacker and fullback. DePalma punished defenders on the ground with grueling runs, getting into the end zone 10 times. He led the DePaul defense with over 250 tackles and 10 sacks during his career in Wayne. Vianney garnered 13 FBS offers, but it was Boston College that won the prize, as De Palma will play next fall in Chestnut Hill. Javar Garrett is capable of playing in the interior or line up outside as he showcased his versatility at linebacker for the Petty Falcons. Garrett had 7 offers to play Division I ball and committed to the ACC and the University of Virginia. The 6'2", 205-pound tackle machine is one of 3 Petty players being honored at the 2017 JSZ Football Banquet. Marcus Hillman has been the shoulder Camden Catholic can lean on all season long. In 2017, Marcus rushed for 1,249 yards, averaging 124 a game and scoring 20 times. The Fighting Irish were also lucky to have him on defense, as he had a stellar 13.5 sacks. Jake Krellin was a 3-year starter for Middletown South and became a household name in the Shore Conference for his outstanding defensive play. As he provided regular pressure from his outside linebacker slot, Coach Steve Antonucci turned to him to handle the rushing load on offense. That move resulted in the Eagles rallying to make the playoffs and beat arch-rival Middletown North on Thanksgiving, where Krellin had 3 touchdown runs and a sack in his final high school game. Wequahic plays Group 1 football and took to social media to declare Quason Horn as one of the best defensive players in New Jersey. A look at the film and numbers confirms Horn as a ball hawk, an outstanding athlete. With 173 tackles in 10 games and over 300 tackles in the past 2 seasons, Horn helped the Indians to the North 1 Group 5 finals and a 9-win season. Javante Jean-Baptiste told us in August that he wanted to be an all-state caliber player and considered one of the best outside linebackers in the country. He lived up to that billing. The 6'5", 220-pounder guided a fierce Bergen Catholic defense in what was a special season in Oradell. Jean-Baptiste's freakish athleticism was displayed on a weekly basis, breaking into the backfield and making game-changing plays. Javante has received numerous offers, including Baylor, Tennessee, and Rutgers. Montclair football has a rich tradition, which makes head coach John Fiore's claim that Willie Matthews is the best defensive player he's ever coached quite a strong statement. Matthews' productivity was off the charts, over 170 tackles and 23 sacks. Willie helped the Mounties to a perfect 12-0 season and the North 1 Group 5 state championship. The junior now has over 350 stops in his career, and his first major college offer has come from Coach Chris Ash and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Junior Tommy Pierce is a tackling machine for the Manalapan Braves and also knew how to drop back in coverage and turn the tide. Pierce topped the 130 tackle mark and had a streak of 4 straight games with an interception. Tommy contributed to a Braves defense that pitched 4 shutouts in 2017 and rolled to a perfect 12-0 mark and the Central Jersey Group 5 championship. With a 3.55 GPA, Pierce is getting on the recruiting radar heading into his senior season. Kevin Brennan is in a special class of Don Bosco Prep football alumni. The 5'11" senior was a rare 4-year starter and 3-year captain for the Ironmen. Brennan's final 2 seasons in Ramsey were special. The free safety accounted for over 170 tackles and 11 interceptions. A slew of FBS schools came calling on Kevin's commitment, but it was the midshipmen of Navy getting the honor, as Brennan will join the American Athletic Conference next fall. Elijah Clark was a lockdown corner for the Sayreville Bombers. The 6'3" DB saw offenses stay away from his side of the field. A 3-star recruit, Clark gave a verbal commitment to head to Philadelphia to play Division I football for the Temple Owls. Recruited as a DB, Clark has the athleticism to also play safety in college. Deion Jennings sprouted 5 inches during his high school days to stand 6'1". The Timber Creek safety has great hands and loves to make tackles in the open field. Jennings made his college choice before his senior season as he'll head up the road to Piscataway and look to make an impact in the Rutgers secondary. Zaire Jones did it all for the Lakewood Piners. The quarterback was a dynamo on offense, with his favorite target being twin brother Jair. But his numbers in the secondary are off the charts. Jones had 9 interceptions in the Lakewood secondary, including a mind-boggling 5 pick-6 touchdowns. Zaire is searching for his college home, and whatever program makes an offer will be getting a real steal. Millville's Carlton Lawrence hails from the same high school that produced baseball star Mike Trout. Lawrence is playing some catch of his own as he hauled in 35 receptions for 704 yards and 9 touchdowns. We've got him in the all-zone secondary, where his 4.4 speed has earned offers from Colorado, Delaware, and Rhode Island. Lawrence was a 3-year starter at one of South Jersey's most dominant programs. It's difficult to stand out when you play in a defensive unit that features 3 Notre Dame commits, but Zamir Mickens found a way to shine in Jersey City. The St. Peter's Prep senior was the anchor of the Marauders' defensive backfield and also took crucial snaps at running back for Prep's high-powered offense. Mickens will follow the St. Peter's recruiting trail to Rutgers University, where he will remain in the Garden State and play football in the Big Ten. Everyone wants to be number 1, but in Jordan Morrison's case, he has people wanting to be number 2. That's because number 2 did it all for Steinert High, rushing for nearly 800 yards and 9 scores, along with 6 touchdown passes and another 438 yards through the air. We could put Jordan in so many spots, but we chose the secondary, where he very well could wind up at his college home. Jordan Morrison is set to sign a letter of intent to play Division I football at UConn. Jarrett Paul made the move from Middle Village, Queens to Paramus Catholics midway through his junior year in 2016, and the 6'1", 195-pounder became a shutdown corner for the Paladins. A top 40 overall recruit in New Jersey's 2018 class, Paul chose Chris Ash and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, where he will play Big Ten football in the Garden State. St. Joe Montvale's Evan Stewart jumped off the screen during our opening week highlight show in 2017 as he came up with 2 pick-6s in a big-time win over Deerfield Beach, Florida. Stewart then followed that up 2 weeks later with a punishing TD run against Del Barton that became a permanent fixture on the JSZ highlight reel. In 3 seasons for the Green Knights, Evan amassed an incredible 230 tackles and 6 picks. He also found his way into the end zone 6 times on offense. The ACC is getting a good one. Evan Stewart will play for the Boston College Eagles. St. Joe Hamilton's Jada Byers brings a wow factor on offense, defense, and special teams. With over 1,400 yards on the ground and 3 picks on defense, it was easy to slot him as one of our all-zone returners. That's because Byers took 4 punts to the house as well as a kickoff return for a score. Only a sophomore, Byers has the talent to be back at our banquet over the next 2 years. Lenape's Joseph Kellum is like a Swiss Army knife. It has more than one use and can be helpful in a time of need. The 1,600-yard rusher with more than 30 touchdowns this season, who goes simply by JoJo, has faced tougher obstacles in his life than getting Lenape to back-to-back state championship appearances. Despite being placed in foster care after losing his mother at a young age, Kellum has not only shined on the football field as a dominant runner, but off it as an even better person. Seton Hall Prep's Zach Hoban was a touchback machine this season in West Orange, averaging 64 yards on kickoffs and putting 21 of 33 into the end zone, rarely allowing opposing return men to get a hand on it. In his 3 years at Prep, the junior has put 78 points on the board, including a career-long 42-yard field goal this season versus Don Bosco. Zach was also a difference maker in the community, teaming up with Kickit.org and dedicating his season to children's cancer research. And thanks to his kicks, Zach has raised over $5,000 to date. 5'8", 135-pound Angelo Guglielmello is nicknamed the Shoe, and with good reason. Guglielmello's right foot has been a weapon in the St. Joe Montvale special teams, racking up an incredible 172 points on field goals and point after attempts in 3 years. His career-long field goal came this season, a 49-yard bomb through the uprights against St. Peter's Prep. Guglielmello's recruiting will heat up in the offseason as he has one more season of football in Montvale.